What is up, YouTube? I'm Devon DaVinci, leader of the Renaissance crew, and you are watching DaVinci Reacts. So we're about to get into this. There's been a debate between us Americans and you English UK people, and it's been a debate about the English language. And every single time I make a comment about something, y'all trying to correct me on some type of thing, whether it's elevators being called lifts, in which case a lift still goes up too, a lift doesn't go down, so both of us are wrong on that. Got you. And then there's other stuff too, like Z and Z. I refuse to back down on that one. So this episode is the Ricky Gervais Show, Season 3, Episode 6. Is titled The English. So I'm pretty sure it's not going to talk about just the language, but I'm willing to bet that it's going to have at least something to do with something. It has to address it. We need the words of the wise and all-knowing Karl Pilkington to be able to finally settle this debate once and for all. Who is the kings of the English language? Because, I mean, UK friends, y'all had a good run, and it's cool. Y'all had a good run. A solid, 1,000, 2,000 some years. You know, y'all took the ball and ran with it, but it's time that y'all pass that torch on to the younger generation. The generation that came around a couple hundred years ago, and we're going to take over the English language because that's how this works. Okay, let's get into this, see what it has to offer. Oh.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Karl Pilkington have been meeting.
I'm still not
regularly
used to him spilling
for a
tea like
series of
that.
pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing.
Maybe it's metaphorical, because in the black community, spilling the tea.
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais.
Maybe he does it on purpose.
Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Karl Pilkington.
All right.
The idea of Englishness and England, it's quite a vague term, isn't it? You can play loose and fast with it. I mean, for instance, I was looking at some quotes about England, and John Major, former Prime Minister, he typified England as being a place of long shadows on county cricket grounds, warm beer, invincible green suburbs, dog lovers, and old maids bicycling through the morning mist. Very specific vision of England.
But he never came to the estate that I was born on,
Sure.
or Karl was, you know what I mean?
So, what is your typical image of an Englishman now?
If I had to draw it for an alien,
Yeah.
He'd be quite squat, quite
Ideal
sturdy,
Englishman.
sort of no neck, hairy.
Are you just thinking of yourself?
Do you know what? It would be my build with Carl's head.
Really?
And no neck. Yeah, I think he's sort of balding and unshaven, and he's like a shaved caveman. I think he's tough. He'd have tats. He'd eat like a dog.
It's the bulldog breed.
It is the bulldog breed. I am thinking of the bulldog breed. Yeah.
See, now my image of an Englishman is essentially that cliched one. It is, I think, Hugh Grant.
So you're modern. You're straight away modern
or
now.
I would say it's either mixed between Hugh Grant and Roger Moore when he was James Bond.
You see,
know what I
that's
mean?
another small percentage of Englishness that sort of annoys me. Those people that think they're James Bond. They think they can buy a suit and read GQ, and they're suave and sophisticated, and they get cars they can't afford. All they do is work in a bank, come home, and flick through GQ at the adverts, looking at people with wearing watches and aftershave. Who wears aftershave?
Do you wear aftershave, Carl?
Normally, aftershave is the sort of thing I let other people buy me. It's like underpants, tea towels, and sort of aftershave and that. Other people buying me.
Who's buying you tea towel?
Just a quick FYI, being a member of the black community, aftershave is extremely important. Now, I don't really necessarily use it because I don't shave. If a razor goes anywhere near my face, I will regret it within a week's time. My face will be bumped all the hell up. But for those of you that can withstand razors, still have to use aftershave because the ingrown hairs, your face will get all kinds of bumps.
towels and sort of aftershave.
I
and
envy
that.
people
Other
that can use
buy me.
razors.
Who's buying you tea towels?
My mum.
Right,
My mum,
okay.
every time she turns up, she's got Brilla pads and stuff. I've got loads of them. I keep saying to her, I don't need any of this, but she always brings a box full of stuff. Brilla pads, tea towels, underpants. The underpants size hasn't gone up since I was 14. But I can rely on her for that.
So do you not have anything in your life which you would think of as being gentlemanly? Do you ever dress smartly? What about suits?
I bought one suit that time when you invited me to the BAFTAs. That's the only suit. I think I wore it for one other thing. I haven't wore it since. I don't feel comfortable, it's not me.
But don't you go to a wedding?
That'd be a lovely advert, wouldn't it? Him with a suit on going, I haven't wore it since. Karl Pilkington hasn't wore it since.
I don't
must
go
have
to
been to a
weddings.
wedding.
No, I don't like going to them.
I agree.
I mean, even though you know them, they don't give you any time when you're there, do they? It's just sort of, they don't know whether you're there or not. They're on cloud 9. They don't know who's around.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you don't need
It's
to
all,
be there.
with them, on wedding day, it's all me, isn't it?
Well, firstly, I'm annoyed about the wedding list. I don't know when that's coming on.
I'm trying to see if this thing over here would go
Because
away.
I don't know why I
There we
can't
go.
just bring maybe something I've made at home. No. Why has there got to be a list of stuff?
What newly married bride doesn't want a pair of homemade clogs?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
But saying that, I think people very much appreciate you being at their wedding.
No,
They do. They remember if you were there.
No.
Building home
They do.
economics.
You don't get invited to weddings because you ain't got any mates.
No, I've got to know enough people. Everyone's getting married. But they're always in the middle of nowhere.
That annoys me when people say, "You come to our wedding?" Yeah, fine, we're in Greece.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that drives me insane when you do go is when they put you on a table with people you don't know.
Well,
I
that's
got
it.
all my mates there, and they put because I got to mingle with some people. I don't care. I don't need these.
But that's what I'm not good at. Talking to people once. Talking to people who you don't know.
No.
What sort of stuff would you make conversation about at a wedding?
I'd probably say, first of all, how do you know them? How do you know the people getting married? And then, do you think it'll last?
You think it'll last?
Imagine inviting Karl Pilkington to wedding. Where should we put him? Oh, I don't know. Is there a table for one? Oh, just
You'd be on the table with the kids.
imagine being stuck with Karl Pilkington at a wedding. Yeah, what else? So you've asked them, do you think it'll last? They've gone, I'm sorry? Who are you? Oh, Karl Pilkington from Manchester. Right, yes, we think it'll last. What else would you ask? So what's your next?
The last wedding I went to, it's going back a couple of years, but everyone seems a bit snidey. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got a mixture of families there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And none of them really like each other.
No.
And I got stuck with an old fella who had a flatulence problem.
Oh boy.
That sounds fun.
And then he went on to say it doesn't matter, the suit's hired.
I'm gonna die! I
just don't like it.
I know he's basically saying at a wedding, it doesn't matter if I shit myself.
I guess he hit that age when, it's an age that you hit when you just don't
Maybe
give a
it's
damn
that
anymore.
thing that I don't appreciate what I've got. But to me, being English isn't anything that great.
Really?
Why not?
Because it's just what I've been dealt with.
If you could be any nationality, what would you be and why?
This is interesting.
Probably be Italian.
Italian.
Why?
Well, just yeah, I like the idea of it. I like it. Italians are alright.
Where would you live? Rome?
I probably wouldn't want to be in the middle of Rome. It's too much hassle.
Have you been to Rome?
Yeah, it's nice to visit and stuff.
Yeah.
It's good. A lot of old stuff.
Why have you chosen Italy? I'm interested to know why of all the countries you've chosen Italy.
I was a late comer to pasta.
But it's one year round.
I like it now. It's like one of my favourite things I have. Which there isn't really anything like that in England. That even though it's
Well, except pasta.
Pasta's
No,
almost
but it's-
exactly like it.
Yeah,
No, but it's not-
we've got pasta, haven't
it's
we?
not ours though, is it? And we
No,
don't know
we've
how
got-
to eat it.
What do you mean we don't know how to eat it?
We do it all wrong.
You stick it up your arse again.
Look at me, I know how to fucking eat it.
No, but what I mean is, if you saw a proper Italian and they saw what we did to pasta, they would not be happy.
What are we doing wrong? Tell me what we're doing wrong
Well, I
with
don't
pasta.
know that, otherwise we wouldn't be doing
Well,
it
how
wrong.
do
How do you know we're doing it
how do you
wrong?
know
I've
they
just
do?
heard we do it wrong. It's like how we have the coffee at all the wrong times. I ordered a cappuccino somewhere and the Italian fella said you shouldn't be having that now. It's a breakfast coffee.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Before 12 o'clock,
Yeah, but I was having it at like 11:15 at night.
Oh,
It looks
wow.
like
Well, that's
mental.
absurd. How are you going to get to sleep with a lovely cup of coffee?
Yeah, that's
Well,
a
I
good
don't
point.
sleep anyway.
You
yeah.
shouldn't drink coffee anyway at night. Full stop.
So hang on. So you love pasta, but you're not eating it right. So you'd like to be Italian in order to be able to eat pasta correctly, even though you enjoy the pasta you
What
eat.
do you feel being Italian is, and what's attractive
It's
to
just
being...
very sort of it's a relaxed lifestyle. Whenever you go to Italy, everyone's sat outside a cafe. It doesn't matter what sort of person
Carl,
you are.
that's all you do now with your spare time is sit
Yes,
outside a cafe.
But they get more respect over there for
Why?
it. It's like it's okay to do that. There's older people sat outside cafes who do nothing.
I
and it's
love the
just
fact that he
they're
wants to
probably
be
retired.
Italian so he can sit outside a cafe and get more respect than he does now sitting outside a cafe.
No, but everyone's rushing about here. People have like colder coffee. They have frappuccinos here because they haven't got time to have a hot coffee. It's like they've got a coffee with ice in so I can neck it. Get down the neck and get on with my day. Relax, enjoy your coffee. I don't understand the rush.
But the reason you enjoy Italy is because when you were there, you're on holiday. That's why you're able to chill out and
No,
relax.
no.
When you say it's old people sat in some little Sicilian village. Of course they got no money.
Here, I went to the Salvation Army
Why?
because it's nice.
What do you mean?
You can get toast and a cup of tea for £1.
Go, you little skinflint.
That's just that should be the going rate, Steve. I'm surprised I haven't seen you in there, to be honest. But the thing
Is
is,
Steve
there
cheap?
is now-
Is this what I'm getting from
just
this?
near Camden.
What is it? Is it like old people?
A lot of old people, mainly old people. And this is what I'm saying. These are people who are old and they sat in a cafe, but they don't get any respect. People are walking past and they don't want to go in. The way you reacted when I said I was in the Salvation Army, that's the reaction they get. Yet an old Italian person, they looked after better.
Well, it's certainly true they look after their older families, don't they? They
Right,
do
and
respect
that's
their
all I'm
families.
saying. Whereas, I mean, it's a lovely place, Salvation Army. Every old fella in there's got a tie on.
Yeah.
They make an effort.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I like about Italians and that. There's a lot of
So you want to be
respect.
Italian because when you're old, you can sit outside a cafe and get more respect than you do here.
yeah.
So
Look at the
he
old
wants to be
people
an
in this country,
Italian
They never
to-
look happy, do they? Really. Most of the time, when you see them walking around, they go to pot.
To do
No
what he
one's
already
keeping an
does.
eye on them.
Well, it's an important thing, isn't it? That my mum, this is when she was about 60, 65. There was a neighbour who was like, 85, 90. And my mum used to go around there every day. Do you want any shopping? Do it, right? But I remember calling her once and she'd come back. I said, what are we doing? She went, oh, I've been round so-and-so. So I went, all right. She went, oh, she won't die, Rick. Like she's helping her, but she's thinking this is getting silly now. You were meant to go years ago here. I was like,
Well, that's the
You're
problem.
doing this on
if
purpose
you,
now
If you
at
get
this point.
pally with an old person,
Yeah.
then you could be stuck with them for years.
and having to do stuff, that's what you don't want
You're
to do.
doing it
is
on
that
purpose
you,
now.
you meet an old,
Drop
an old
dead.
fella, and then you've got to start popping in his sort of piles or whatever when he can't do them himself. What do you do if you're...
It depends how friendly you are, though. I mean, I'm just talking about someone you meet at the bus stop, as opposed to popping the piles back in. How does that happen? Jesus. Just the ones on the estate I grew up on. As soon as he got to a certain age, there was Mrs. Knowles who went mental. One day she seemed fine, next day she was chucking cans in everyone's garden.
Okay.
You could just hear her coming. Which was weird. Aren't she? Now you've brought up weird people. There was
Go
a
on.
fella called Shorts Man, right?
It's so pedestrian! I love that.
Shortest man wore some shorts.
Now, what I like, yeah, he did, but they were really short. They were that sort where, it's almost pointless having them on.
What do you mean?
They were just, like shorts now for blokes, they go up to your knees, don't they? There's no chance, there's no accident happening there. There's
Go on.
nothing going to pop out.
Yeah.
No.
But Shorts Man, he liked it. He liked the fact that happened. And he used to walk with big strides to sort of help the chance along.
So it was
So
a
that
pervert.
he knew, with the big strides and the short shorts,
Yeah.
they were going to pop out.
Did you ever see it pop out?
Yeah.
Why would you
everyone
look at
did.
the shorts?
Just because it was like
What?
it was like playing Buckaroo. It was like, when are they going to pop out? It's just what happened.
So, right, but this is a shorts man. So he was an exhibitionist. He basically wanted people to see
Yeah,
his legs.
yeah. And they were out more than they were in. I mean, they had a tan.
Oh God! I might have to censor
I
that.
think we like
Oh,
that. We
wow.
like local characters.
Eccentrics, that's very British. Eccentrics, yeah.
Holy
And
cow.
I'm glad I grew up round there with all them people because
So
they're
am I.
interesting.
I'm gonna have to censor that. First time ever.
Do you think there's a big difference, Carl, between the Englishman of yesteryear who didn't complain? I mean, he just got on with things. He might have whinged about the weather and the like, but he just got on with things.
He carried an umbrella.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Whereas
whinge about
nowadays,
anything.
people are getting their Prozac and their antidepressants.
If
They're going
someone-
to therapy.
Yeah, he kept out of stuff as well. Why are we getting involved now in everything? Thoughts on that, Carl?
It's news now, innit? Sometimes I think, don't tell me, don't want to know. Just get on with it. Whoever's job that is, get on with it.
Yeah.
Why am I being told about it? When I've got a problem in my job, no one else knows. No one helps me out and goes, well, I've got an opinion for him.
No.
This might help him. No one helps me. But I'm being bombarded by everyone else's hassle. They love talking, actually. That's what the English do. Talking, but they never finalise it. They love just being in a meeting room, talking, saying, yeah, we could do this, we could do that. I'm the only one in that room not getting paid. Everyone else is on a wage. I'm there looking at my watch, thinking, right, I've been here for an hour and nothing's been sorted. They're looking, thinking we can drag this out for another half hour, get us to lunch. That's what annoys me. They're all sat there just pushing bullshit around the room like dung beetles.
Oh, bars.
Sick of it. And that's what the English do. And it's a shame, because I don't think we used to be like that. I wish everybody just sort of kept to themselves more. Like, you know, certain animals do. You just get on with it. It's like an old-fashioned way.
What animals keep
Well,
themselves?
any animals keep themselves to themselves.
Like
I've
what?
said loads of things.
What animals keep themselves?
Badgers.
Why do they keep themselves?
No, they just whenever you've seen them just sort of wandering about a roadside, they're on their own.
Right.
They're not sort of
What are they
in
doing?
pairs. I don't know. Most of the time they're dead.
that would be
Than alive ones.
the ultimate form of minding your own business.
So that's why they're one alone and two getting on with it. I love it. Most
I
of
love
the time.
that it started off as some kind of poetic analogy. I don't know what that was.
Most of the time.
I just
What's up with that?
Oh God. I like this thing of the Englishman I knew growing up was you had to, when you hit a certain age, when you hit like manhood or puberty or whatever, 13, 14, 15, you had to start showing your mettle. You had to be tough. I remember, right, when I first started going to pubs, right, so I don't know, say 18, you walk into a toilet, the urinals, and the first thing everyone did was fart and gob.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
couldn't do that, then you know, you get funny looks. You know, you go in the urinal and they'd look at you and go, oh, sorry. It was all about being a man, you know.
I think wearing glasses makes you slightly exempt from that. It's like you don't have to. People automatically dissociate. It's like if I was in prison, I wouldn't have to do that because I'd just be the professor.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
exactly,
Or brains.
yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
They would.
They'd
I
come
wouldn't
to
need to
you
be
with
part of
the-
it. I'm never a threat because I never look like I'm going to be a tough guy. So consequently, I live in this sort of parallel stratosphere.
Yeah, I have no idea why that's a thing. I used to wear glasses a long time ago, and I don't know why people associate glasses with like smarts or anything like that. Glasses just means I have bad eyesight. It doesn't mean I'm a genius or something. It means I can't see. that's it.
Because I never look like I'm going to be a tough guy. So consequently, I live in this sort of parallel stratosphere where I haven't got a piss and gob.
I have no idea why it does
has
that.
that got more popular?
Yes.
Has it?
Yeah.
There's a lot
What,
more people doing
gobbing?
it in the streets now.
Really?
It's
not
like
in, not in
avoiding-
Hampstead.
It still is, you know. When I walk
The only
in,
person gobbing in Hampstead is me. Jane says, don't gob. People are looking.
well,
Yeah.
it's your trail that I'm seeing then.
Oh,
Like a load of sort of washed up jellyfish in London. Just big blobs of it. I mean, I don't know how they're coughing this stuff up. I mean, they shouldn't still be alive. Some
yeah.
of them
We
have
call them
big
loogies, and
It's
they're
just big lumps of
disgusting.
stuff.
I don't spit at
I mean,
all.
that list of idyllic, antiquated England of you know, tea and cakes and cricket, I mean, is valid, but I think the things that sum up Englishness, I mean, talking of the weather, I think drinking, war, we love a ruck,
Yeah.
we're built on war, we're a warrior
We're
race.
pretty good at war.
Talking of the
Oh man, if you enjoy war, then us Americans, we have something to discuss because, God damn it, we are the warriest of war people that ever warred. Like, you will never meet anybody that wars as much and as often as Americans like to war. And I know the British are known for their warring, but in less time, I think we might be able to beat y'all when it comes to war at some point.
English sense of fair play and war. When the crossbow was invented, a lot of people wouldn't use it. they said it was unchristian. So our soldiers sort of resisted it. So Europeans got this thing that needed no skill, and it was shooting these bolts, and they could reload quick. And versus our bowmen. What do you think of that? What do you think of going, oh, it's cheating, we won't use it, but having a disadvantage? That's honour, isn't it?
But what's the problem here? What am I meant to be worrying about?
Well, you've got bow and arrows.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They're heavy. Someone comes along and goes, don't worry about that. Here's a crossbow. Just pop it in, put it back. Deadly. Deadly, quick. Anyone can use it. So now you've got anyone with a crossbow killing people.
Women, children.
Anyone can use it. So the Europeans, they're going crazy. But we resisted it because we thought it was, you know, unchristian and cheating to kill without skill. What do you think of that?
But where were the actual bows and that being made? Because that's the thing, isn't it? The company who's making them, they just want to get out to a big market.
Brilliant.
That's what they do now with the iPod and everything. It's not about people wanting more music than ever before. That's not the case. It's about having the accessory. And if the bow and arrow was like sold as this, you know, light to carry for all the family, that's how it would have happened. That's what it's all about.
Ye new bow and arrow from Ronco.
But what do you think the problem
Yeah,
is?
but you're not quite getting Ricky's point. His point is the idea of there being sort of rules and fair play and etiquette in war. The objective is to kill the enemy.
I don't think war and that is a place to start getting all up to about someone cheating or having a better system.
Really? You think all fair in love and war, do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But
It's just about
rules,
winning.
isn't it?
No, not in a war. There isn't rules.
What's extraordinary about the idea of English fair play is, you know, famously the approach during the First World War, that we would sort of walk up out of the trenches onto no man's land and sort of politely march at a slow, steady pace across towards the enemy. I mean, and then we were just being machine gunned down. I mean, it was absurd.
And that's the one they had a knockabout stuff, didn't they? A game of football. And
In
that.
no man's land.
Hey, there we go. That story again.
But who took a football there?
I was thinking that a little bit too, but soldiers have off
If I was
time
on
every
the
once in a
front
while.
line, I would not be getting out the rule book. I can tell you that much. I'd be going mental.
Are you saying there should be some rules or no rules?
I mean, you've got to have some rules, otherwise it's just going to be like Grand Theft Auto, isn't it? I'm just going to go about battering everyone.
Yeah.
And you soon get bored of that.
Which rules would you repeal that already exist that you don't like?
Before he does that, I think it has something to do with pushing a
It's a shame
button.
you can't tip as much as you used to be able to.
You mean in a restaurant?
No, just when you're getting rid of a mattress or something.
So fly tipping, you'd like to see more fly tipping.
What do you mean? This is something so personal. He's fed up. He had to take something.
No, it's just that they used to put stuff outside the house, and just like you had mattresses, you had sideboards, sewing machines. The thing is, it was a good way of recycling. Now they say recycle, but we're not recycling. It's just being put in a bin. I'm saying if you've got old furniture, you should be allowed to leave it outside your house without the council going, move that, it's dangerous, someone's going to trip over it. Well, if they trip over it, you should have been looking where they're going.
Well, what if they're blind?
What?
What if they're blind? That's why you don't leave things out in the pavement, because blind people will fall over and smack their face in.
No, because I'm leaving it. I'm not leaving it on the pavement.
What you just said you were. Where are you leaving it?
Sort of outside the house.
Where are you leaving it, Carl? You haven't established where you're leaving this yet. Because so far, a blind person's fallen over and broken his nose.
I've never
and
seen a
lost 2
blind
teeth.
person trip over anything.
You've never seen a blind person trip over anything?
Definitely not.
They're all
better on
ninjas.
the feet than some people because they're more cautious.
They're all ninjas.
So
Make it more fun for them, if anything.
why can't you just have this stuff collected by a second-hand shop or
Because they
send
won't.
it to
They
a
don't come,
charity?
Steve.
They will.
Honestly, they don't. I've called up people and they're saying, yeah, we'll be there in an hour. And I say, right, I'm going to put it out on the street. And are you going to come and get it? Yeah, we'll be there. An hour passes by. They haven't been. Suddenly the
blind people
council
all over
goes
the
past.
place. On the floor, bloodied noses.
And the council said, I call them up, do you want to shift it? Well, we might, but don't know when. Well, it's outside the house now. Well, you can't leave it there. It's your responsibility. You'll have to stay with it. Suddenly, I'm wasting time sat outside the house with rubbish that someone else might want. But you're not allowed to leave there because a blind person might come along. What's the dog doing?
You're not doing your job, dog.
Do you make of St. George, the patron saint? What's your take on that?
Is he the one who killed the dragon?
Right. Tell us the story.
There was a dragon problem.
He killed it.
Must have been in England.
Right.
George took it on. He took on the job. He was like a rent-a-kill. He came out. The interesting thing with him is, right, he was a hero then. I honestly think if he did that now, there'd be an uproar. Because it's the last dragon. It's the same way we try to save the panda and all that now. If he came out and said, I've done it, and he's done what? They've just killed the last dragon. They'd go mental. There'd be marches. Idiot, bloody idiot. And that's what's interesting.
But it was going around burning people.
Doesn't matter. We shouldn't have killed the last one. It's the last one. And that's what we'd be like. You say you should have saved it. You should have captured it and put it in a cage so we can all look at it.
There's
and
no
stuff.
point. It couldn't have bred anyway. It was the last one.
Was it definitely the last one?
Well, you were saying it was the last one. I'm not bothered either way.
Hang on, what?
To me,
Sorry,
hang on. Whoa.
So you think that there were dragons?
Well, what are we celebrating then?
Well, it could be a metaphor, a dragon slayer. It could be a bad thing amongst us. It could be a foreign threat. It could be things that threaten. It could be anything. It's not to be taken literally, is
But
it?
the real legend of George was that he was a figure who stood up for Christianity. Have you ever done anything brave?
There was a kid at school who used to have epileptic fits a lot, and the teacher used to always say, if it happens, grab his tongue. And I sort of had a go at that once. His tongue.
His tongue?
Yeah.
What do you have a tongue for? To pick stuff up? What do you mean a tongue?
His tongue in his mouth.
Oh, his tongue.
Oh, his tongue.
Yeah.
Right, go on.
And they used to say,
I was wondering, like,
if
what is he
starts
talking
doing it, grab his tongue and that. And
How did
I
Ricky
sort of had a go at
confuse that?
once, and it wasn't nice.
How did you grab it? You grabbed his tongue, did you?
Well, I tried to. It's like grabbing a slug. And plus his mouth's going up and down. That you think he's going to have me handy. So you sort of do that thing where you go.
So you were trying to grab hold of a kid's tongue, yeah? And he's
throwing himself all over the place. It was in the physics lesson. I sort of had a go, and then I thought this isn't happening. So I just sort of kept putting my hand in, like I'm having a go. But in my head, I was going, I'm not going to get hold of it.
What you could have used is a pair of tongs.
Well, firstly, I don't see why this is brave. Kids have an epileptic fit and you're just supposed to help them out. I don't know why that's bravery, but even given that, the fact that you were thinking more about yourself in that situation than this other kid. You were thinking, I'll make it look like I'm helping, but I'm not really. And yet this is kid having an epileptic
I did
fit.
at the beginning.
Doesn't
I
that
tried.
sum you up, Carl? Selfish.
No, it doesn't. Because I didn't, no one else was having a go. At least I did try and grab it at one point. Have you ever tried to grab a tongue? It's like chasing a chicken. It's murder. And after a while, it wears you out. And it was weird anyway, because it was like...
What was he doing it for?
I don't know.
Wearing him out after hours of chasing this kid's tongue.
I love the idea. Have you ever tried grabbing a tongue? It's a valid question.
I love that he's annoyed. He's annoyed that this poor kid's having
What was your
a fit.
technique? Were you trying to grab it
Just with your thumb and your finger, like a pincher thing.
Yeah.
But it was because his mouth's going down and
Was
all
he
that.
shouting or just?
No, just throwing himself around.
So that's your one attempt at bravery.
Well, hang on a minute. Let me just think.
Trying to grab a tongue.
There was a time you were chased by a bee and you scored a goal.
I forgot about that.
That isn't really bravery, is it? As you were running away from a bee, and the ball happened to hit your foot and go in. That counts as bravery. I love it when he goes up to the pearly gates and goes, "Well, have you done the act of courage?" I pretended to grab a tongue. A tongue, yeah. Got chased by a bee, scored a goal. It doesn't count as brave at all.
And old Heaven Carl got offended. Oh man, yeah, bravery. Does bravery? Does a brave act have to also be selfless? Because what if Carl had a phobia for germs? If that were the case, then him reaching into that kid's mouth to pull out his tongue, would that at that point be bravery? Because a lot of people don't have a phobia for germs. Even if you do have a phobia for germs and you do that, would that still be considered brave? Like, who determines what bravery is? Is it the person doing it, or is it the person observing you doing it? Because like I said, if they didn't have a phobia for germs, but you do, you reach into their mouth, you reach into somebody's mouth to help them while they're like having a stroke. To other people that might never really be considered brave, but to you, you just did a brave act. We don't know how Karl is. I've already told you Karl has shown signs of autism, I think, personally. So who knows what, like, as far as like how impactful doing that was to him. I know I'm sitting here like diagnosing him with stuff that he probably does not have, but you know, that's part of the fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. I'm still waiting for some more requests to be given for shows to check out, to pretty much replace the Idiot Abroad series that I was doing. So the next set of episodes I'll be checking out. Like I said, as long as if it's less than 30 minutes, and by that I mean like actually less than 30 minutes. So it like the video itself has to be no longer than 30 minutes. I don't want to go any further than that because, like I said, it makes it tougher to do videos that are too long, or they take up more space on my computer, and they are a little bit longer to process when you're editing. And like I said, I don't like to have like background noise and stuff when I do videos, and you never know what could happen while I'm recording, some noise or something, and then next thing you know, for me, the video's ruined. So I'd prefer to have a shorter video, a normal TV series or something like that. Then maybe in the future I can do reactions to like movies and stuff, and who knows, that might be a good Patreon idea. But whatever, you guys let me know about that. I will go ahead and wrap this up. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share. The link for the original video is in the description box down below. The video, or the website that I got this from, was Dailymotion. I didn't get this from YouTube. So if you want to see the original video, click it, go check it out. That's pretty much it. So I'm gonna give you guys the deuces, and I look forward to seeing you guys on a future video. Deuces.